It's a big year in the adventure bike world. Big new entrant into the field. Yamaha's all new XT1200Z Super Tenere. That's right, the big Super Tenere name is back. No one knows it better than Russ from Off-Road Explorer, but we'll get to some of that ancestral activity with this bike in a moment. We've been lucky enough today to score the first two bikes made available to the media in Australia. We've picked them up from Yamaha's headquarters in Sydney, done a quick blast up the Wiseman's Ferry, St Albans Valley. We're within spitting distance of Wollombi village right now for a spot of lunch before we turn around and head home. The new Super Tenere hits the market at $19,990. Competitively priced for sure for the level of specification the bike comes loaded with. Yamaha chip control, throttle control system with dual power modes. You've got anti-lock brakes as standard equipment, traction control with 2 modes, plus it can be set off, unified braking system which applies front and rear brakes from both brake levers, but you can still use rear brake only by pressing the rear brake first. We just did a big technical story with Dr. Phil that's coming up in our next magazine. So many innovations, all in one new model year with the Super Tenere. A whole lot to talk about. But while it's a lot to talk about on the spec sheet, what everyone wants to know is how does it translate to the saddle, in the dirt and on the tar? Russ, what are you thinking so far?
As far as the traction control is concerned, it was just nice and easy on the road, but when I turned the traction control off, man, I had some fun. It just cuts loose, but the thing is that it doesn't let go and scare the hell out of you. It's just nice,
I think
controllable
it's all that
power,
controllable, usable roll-on power,
yeah, it is.
Which is precisely what guys in this corner of the market are looking for out of their big bore multi-cylinder adventure bikes.
That's right. So when you're on the road and you're just cruising, it's a nice, comfortable bike to sit on. But when you want to stand up and really get into it, it starts to feel like a dirt bike. It's being Tenere tragics, we really wanted to start looking for things that we could find wrong with it. But really, I like just about everything about this bike.
It's hard to fault from a first day out on the bike, that's for sure. I think the thing a lot of guys will be impressed by if they can get a test ride on one is a real critical factor, Russ, isn't it? Because it's a good feeling from the outset, and it only continues to be enhanced the more you ride, both on tar road and on dirt road. I think it's a really true versatile performer, and I think Yamaha deserve full marks for being bang on the money with their development and all those technical innovations that really translate to real world applications. Yeah. I think it's really going to shake up the market leader in this category for sure. Yeah, well,
I really starting. Like I've always said that I'm not that crazy about ABS, but I like the ABS on these bikes. But yeah, you can't help but draw the comparison between this and the BMW R1200 GS. And I think that, for people who want a 1200 off-road bike, adventure bike,
sure.
Then if you find the GS a bit intimidating, then I'd certainly have a look at this, because even though it's supposed to be a heavy bike, it doesn't feel that heavy.
It hides its weight really well, doesn't it?
Yeah,
and the other thing that, particularly also price again I come back to, is another really important factor in this category, isn't it? A lot of standard features are on the Yamaha. A lot of that more technical innovation are additional features above the base comparable BMW. Yeah. I mean, guys really have to do their homework when they're looking between these two bikes, definitely.
Well, look, having ridden the bike just for one day, I think that the only thing that I could really criticise is that for the money, you could do with heated grips. For comfort, I'm a big heated grip. Who else would put heated grips on a Husky TE610? But something like heated grips should be standard, and the only thing that scraping the bottom of the barrel to criticise is just the vulnerability of the plastics on the bike. But other than that, I'm finding it awesome, And I got an old, big black, old 89 Super Tenere because it was a Super Tenere. But I'd buy one of these because it's good.
The old one's going, Russ? Is that what you're saying?
No. Got to hang on to the legend. So, yeah, so the old 89 Super Tenere 750, XTZ 750 will always have a place in the garage, but yeah, this would be something, if you want something up to date, I'd be looking at something like this.
All right, let's get some Dr. Jur's Jungle Juice into us, Russ. Come on.
All right, mate.
You can read Clubby's report in issue 32 of Trail Zone, and check out Russ's Super Tenere detail report and ride impression in the bike section of offroadexplorer.com.